Konbanwa, minasan, Super Kami Guru Alucard desu. Hi. Good evening, everyone. Super Kami Guru Alucard here, and we are back for another episode of live Clow card readings. As usual, if you would like your fortune told while we are live, just comment gender, zodiac sign, and career, romance, or general future. Now, with these readings, too, in the description, you will always find the special bonuses. If you donate to PayPal, you qualify for bonus readings. Sort of my treat, telling fortunes. And then also, there is the playlist of all my released music so far, in case you would like to hear more of my work, in order to be hopefully motivated to support future endeavors. Now, we will save the discussion of what has been going down and what is planned for the future till the end. But, of course, if you are tuning in and you are not subscribed, please subscribe and give me the thumbs up. It definitely helps. We have 188 subscribers now. Let's try and get that up to 200. So, thanks, everybody. Without further delay, let's get into it. So, I will do 3 readings for myself. If anybody comments during this broadcast, I will tell your fortune as well after we read a bit of good old Neville Goddard. So here we go. Shuffle these cards a bit. And we will start with the general future, which is 10 cards. Romance and career are 5, just in case anybody was unsure if they wanted their fortune told. All right. Oh, great Clow cards of Kurorido, using the power of the sun, the moon, and the stars, reveal to me whatever message infinite intelligence of universal consciousness has in guiding me towards my general future. Reris, the little, the bubbles, the create, the shot, the earthy, the glow, the erase, the Libra, the maze, and the rain. All right. So first we have the little card, which means things may be making changes, but little changes, which, enough little changes leads up to something big. The bubbles indicates something is happening, something is rising to the surface. Feeling more bubbly and positive, so that kind of ties into it as well. The create indicates creating good things in the future to come, which as an artist I am always doing. The shot indicates taking chances, trying something new. The earthy would imply a sense of inner strength, being grounded, finding the roots, and really using the energy of that. Then we have the glow card, which means things are going to start to shine more brightly. The erase indicates letting go of certain things from the past, sort of erasing them from the present concept moving forward. The Libra indicates finding balance and not tipping the scales of things, but, finding, the right balance between enjoying life, working, and, finding a sense of peace in between the two. The maze indicates it being like a journey with many paths of which I could move forward. And I feel like that lately. There's many different routes I could go, many different directions I could take, but I'm kind of unsure. And then we have the rain, meaning that it's washing away things of the old, as the eraser card suggests too, to make way for things of the new. Without sunshine and rain, the grass won't grow. I always say that. That's actually a Buck65 quote from his song X's, which very, very good quote. I find it so profound. In fact, I'm kind of sad that he retired for a while and hasn't made any new albums, but I would love to see him make a comeback and really release some new material because, As one of Canada's proud rappers, I take a lot of pride that we got such a great lyricist from our own country. Me too. But, you know, and then the fact is, like, he is still to this day the only hip hop artist to win the Juno Album of the Year award. So, that's a pretty big accomplishment. So yeah, shout outs to Buck65. He's the man. Super Kami Guru Alucard supports you and would love to make a track someday. Anyways, we will get into the romance reading, then career. I think that's the best way to do it. So, oh great Clow cards, Kurorido, give me some advice regarding my current romantic situation moving forward to the future. Release. The time, the hope, the freeze, the sand, and the love. Ooh, this is very good. Now, the time paired with the love card, it's very ironic that these two actually got paired together in this reading because Valentine's Day is coming up. So it's almost like it's saying the time of love is coming, but it could also be indicating that the time for love is coming, like that love is on its way. There's sort of the hope of that in the air with certain actions I've taken lately. So, yeah, the time, the hope, and, the ideas that I've tried to move closer to what my ideal person would be. The freeze indicates there being almost like a stagnant sort of state, like being frozen and not sure of what to do. Being nervous almost like when you get those butterflies and you meet somebody you really like and you don't know how to make the first move. There's sort of this energy of that. Plus, it's tied together with the sand card next to it, which could indicate difficulty making the first move forward towards this. Difficulty in travel. You run on sand, it's like kind of harder to travel on. But it could also be indicating, like, a very important journey of this. And then, of course, the last card I drew was the love card itself. So to get that for a romantic reading is a very good sign. It's a slow, kind of nerve-wracking journey, but the time is approaching. There's a hope for that, and we are moving forward towards that. So it's very great. Now, some people have asked me before, like, am I persistent or insistent on marrying like Hitomi Shimatani? I'd say if somebody who was equal or better came along, I might go for it. I'd say I'm kind of keeping in mind, because I really love Ruby's character from Dark Cloud, that if it wasn't Hitomi per se that was destined for me, there's a special energy which guides me to somebody like that. And then if there was better or of equal caliber, I feel like they would also have qualities of Ruby, which that's lately what I've been picking up on as far as energy. So now we will do career, and then we will read some Neville Goddard before we discuss all the latest news going on with my recording albums. Of course, if anybody else comments and would like a reading before then, you will receive your live reading after I finish Neville Goddard before we start the evening's discussion. By the way, I had taken a break for a while because I was busy doing the 10-day threefold Lotus Sutra recitation with Risho Kosekai. It was a very great experience. We all took turns. I actually got to be the MC on Sunday. It was very exciting. I was told I did a very good job. I was a bit nervous. I'd never done nothing like that before. But I watched carefully. I knew the script. I was ready to do it. And I was told I did great. In fact, they'd want me to, be the MC at future events. So that means I must have done good. And I'm glad about that. But that's why last week, if you notice, I didn't come on, because the timing would have coincided with when I usually do these readings. So, and we are a little earlier than normal. Sometimes I come on at 8, but today I actually had a very productive, progressive day, and I got everything I had planned to do early. So I thought, might as well just do it now. while I'm feeling inspired and motivated, I'll do it. And yeah, I will save the rest for our discussion and do the final reading for myself tonight, the career. So, oh great Clow cards of Kororido, using the power of the sun, the moon, and the stars, give me some guidance with the direction in the future regarding my career. Release the big, the fly, the mirror, the dark, and the mist. So, the big card indicates big things happening. So, with the general future giving me the small card, it's almost like it's saying that, like, the bigger things are probably going to be in the career, whereas more personal things might appear to be smaller when it comes to changes and things growing. The fly indicates travel, movement, rising to new heights. So that's probably a good sign that things are actually moving in that direction. Maybe in the future I will travel. It'll be helpful for my career. That could be why that popped up. The mirror indicates reflecting on the work I've done, seeing within myself how I feel about my work, and sort of the vision I have for the work I will do in the future is a good sign of, not losing yourself, but expanding, growing. As an artist, you always need to experiment and try new things. Don't stay pigeonholed. If something works, don't feel the pressure to stick to it. Whereas if something doesn't work, it's a learning experience, and you could learn what to try different next time to try and grow. So next we have the dark card, which indicates, oddly enough, it's kind of funny that I drew this card because I had gone through a situation career-wise that was kind of dark. I've been unable to contact the producer who was working on Timebreaker. I think he deactivated his account or something. I can't message him on Facebook, which kind of sucks. I tried emailing him and calling him to get a hold of him, but nothing. So that's one dark thing that's happened. And then oddly enough, I was trying to find producers to make me custom beats because I don't want just any old beats. I want beats to capture a certain mood with the concept of my next musical projects. And well, this one guy was kind of disrespectful. He was talking a bunch of trash, and it's like before he even had a name. Like, he has a verified Twitter account, but it's not like he's a household name that I've heard of him as a producer. I was just trying to find producers on Twitter, and he was kind of talking crap. And it's like, dude, I have been rapping since before you even had your so-called Twitter verified account. And it's like he was just such a jerk. And then the rude thing about it, I don't like when people do this. When people want to tell you off and then you want to make a point to defend yourself and correct them when they are wrong, when they are mistaken. I'm not saying sink to their level and just insult them if you're getting into a squall, but when they say something that isn't correct and you're trying to correct them because they have the wrong idea and they block you in the middle of that, that's just immature. I don't respect that. I find people like that, because this guy's called E. Smitty or something. I'm like, first of all, who are you? Like, you're not Dr. Dre. You're not RZA. You're not Large Professor, to name like a few of the great producers. You really shouldn't act like you're some big shot, because it's like, I only just typed in producers and your name came up. But it's like, I know 1,000 more producers who are known for their name, not just for being a producer. So whatever though. But that's why I could relate to that. But that could, especially with the mirror, that could just be the current perception or reflection of things, oddly enough. And then the mist card could indicate confusion, and especially with this situation and not knowing how I'm going to move forward once Timebreaker is completed fully. There is kind of that misty, clouded gray area of, where am I going to take the music next? What am I going to do? I really want to save up and go to Japan. I got other things I want to do too. What should I do? And I'm honestly thinking of maybe taking a hiatus from actually recording music for a while I work towards that. And then, maybe ideas that will help me in the other musical directions in the future will come along the way. So that concludes our actual 5 readings for myself. I like to do that just to give an example for anybody who watches this to, hopefully give them the desire to want to have their fortune told by having an example, right? So next, we will read some Neville Goddard, and then we will proceed with more of the discussion. Oh, that's the wrong bookmark. I saved that because that page, I actually got that page from my Buddhist mentor because it actually was a part where Neville Goddard was talking about Buddha. So, okay, today we will read Prayer, the Art of Believing, Chapter 2, Dual Nature of Consciousness. Now, let's see. I don't think this is too... Yeah, this chapter isn't that long at all. It's only like 1, 2... Not even 3 full pages. So, all right. A clear concept of the dual nature of man's consciousness must be the basis of all true prayer. Consciousness includes a subconscious as well as a conscious part. The infinitely greater part of consciousness lies below the sphere of objective consciousness. The subconscious is the most important part of consciousness. It is the cause of voluntary action. The subconscious is what a man is. The conscience is what a man knows. I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater than I. The conscience and subconscious are one, but the subconscious is greater than the conscience. I of myself can do nothing. The Father within me, he doeth the work. I, objective consciousness of myself, can do nothing. The Father, the subconscious, he doeth the work. The subconscious is that in which everything is known, in which everything is possible, to which everything goes, from which everything comes, which belongs to all, to which all have access. What we are conscious of is constructed out of what we are not conscious of. Not only do our subconscious assumptions influence our behavior, but they also fashion the pattern of our objective existence. They alone have the power to say, let us make man, objective manifestations, in our image, after our likeness. The whole of creation is asleep within the deep of man, and is awakened to objective existence by his subconscious assumptions. Within that blankness we call sleep, there is a consciousness of in-sleeping vigilance. And while the body sleeps, this unsleeping being releases from the treasure house of eternity the subconscious assumptions of man. Prayer is the key which unlocks the infinite storehouse. Prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it. Prayer modifies or completely changes our subconscious assumptions, and a change of assumption is a change of expression. The conscious mind reasons inductively from observation, experience, and education. It therefore finds it difficult to believe what the 5 senses and inductive reason deny. The subconscious reason deductively and is never concerned with the truth or falsity of the premise, but proceeds on the assumption of the correctness of the premise and objectifies results which are consistent with the premise. This distinction must be clearly seen by all who would master the art of praying. No true grasp of the science of prayer can really be obtained until the law governing the dual nature of consciousness are understood and the importance of the subconscious realized. Prayer, the art of believing what is denied by the senses, deals almost entirely with the subconscious. Through prayer, the subconscious is suggested into acceptance of the wish fulfilled, and reasoning deductively, logically unfolds it to its legitimate end. Far greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. The subjective mind is the diffused consciousness that animates the world. It is the spirit that giveth life. In all substance is a single soul, subjective mind. Through all creation runs this one unbroken subjective mind. Thought and feelings, fused into beliefs, impress modifications upon it, charge it with a mission, which mission it faithfully executes. The conscious mind originates premises. The subjective mind unfolds them to their logical end. Were the subjective mind not so limited in its initiative power of reasoning, objective man could not be held responsible for his actions in the world. Man transmits ideas to the subconscious through his feelings. The subconscious transmits ideas from mind to mind through telepathy. Telepathy. Yeah, that's a better way of saying it. Okay. Your unexpressed convictions of others are transmitted to them without their conscious knowledge or consent, and if subconsciously accepted by them, will influence their behavior. The only ideas they subconsciously reject are your ideas of them, which they could not wish to be true of anyone. Whatever they could wish for others can be believed of them, and by the law of belief which governs subjective reasoning, they are compelled to subjectively accept and therefore objectively express accordingly. The subjective mind is completely controlled by suggestion. Ideas are best suggested when the objective mind is partly subjective. That is, when the objective senses are diminished or held in abeyance. This partly subjective state can best be described as controlled reverie, wherein then the mind is passive but capable of functioning with absorption. It is a concentration of attention. There must be no conflict in your mind when you are praying. Turn from what is to what ought to be. Assume the mood of fulfilled desire, and by the universal law of reversibility, you will realize your desire. So that concludes the chapter. Very insightful. Even I was kind of like, ooh, I was getting aha moments in the back of my head as I was reading that. Thank you, Abs up in here. Yeah, SKGA is back. So now that we've read that, if nobody else would like their fortunes told tonight, I will just discuss all the latest developments with Time Breaker, A Point to Prove, and future projects after that. Thank you. It's good to be back. Was on a hiatus for the Lotus Sutra, as I mentioned earlier in the video. But yeah, we are back, and hopefully we will be back again next week. Since we're nearing the 40th episode, we might end the season there for a bit. But you know, if people enjoy it, I definitely like to keep it going. It's a matter of how the audience reacts, if it gets likes, subscribers, that kind of thing. But if people like it, then yeah, we'll keep going even past 40. We'll see how it goes when that time comes. But yeah, with Time Breaker, I did record the Law of Assumption with Olga, which turned out really good. We used a Ruby sample from Dark Cloud, her going yay like right before the chorus starts, which was very cool. And currently I'm making another collaboration with Reiko of Lolita Dark, who performed on such songs as Destiny from Impulse, my first album, My Angel from Nail Gun, All I Want from Mahjong Titan, as well as the intro. And she's also done instrumental work. Like, for example, she did the keyboard solo at the end of Nail Gun and the guitar solo at the end of My Angel. And then, yeah, she was also on S.O.S. with her husband, fellow Lolita Dark bandmate, Rain. So it was almost like having the whole Lolita Dark on that track with Olga. It was a great tune. And she last appeared with me on the song from the S.O.S. Brigade Quartet's first album, Jazz It Up, which she rapped, sung on, and played a keyboard solo. It was very good. Definitely go check that out if you haven't. But she's going to be doing a new song with me called Stars and Dreams. The beat is really bumping. There's going to be some Dark Cloud and Card Captor Sakura Clear Card references to it. She's going to rap and sing and play a guitar solo on that one. So it's going to be a really hype track. And then after that, there's actually only 5 more songs I'll need to record for that. So yeah, if I get 3 done next month after she finishes her parts this month, and then maybe 3 in April, the album will be complete. Hoping to release it latest October, and we'll probably do another video between April and that. Probably for the single Time Breaker. We'll see how that goes. But there will also be a song called Brand New Mystic, which I will sing in Japanese, a good chunk of it, and then there will be a bit of rapping. And then the alter egos, Vlad the Impaler, Little Buckingham, and Denine will each have songs they appear on. The Power of Awareness for Hitomi-chan and Maki Modoshi Jikan, which means rewinding time. And then there will also be a song dedicated to the wonderful and lovely best friend of mine, Minori Chihara. And that'll be very good. In fact, she's very excited from it because when I've commented telling her I'm going to do that, she always is very happy and hearts the comment. So I'm sure she'll love it when it comes out. And then, of course, for Hitomi-chan, another Hitomi Shimatani dedicated song. Since the album cover will be a painted picture of Hitomi, so there's going to be a lot of Hitomi references for this album. I'd say the concept of this album is it's breaking time. It's kind of got like that Bardock fighting no matter how much the odds are stacked against me, like when he goes up against Frieza, right? Just because it's the right thing to do. But it's also, I'd say, a love letter for Hitomi and Chihara and all the great Japanese pop artists who have inspired me throughout the years with my career. I mean, you listen to my earlier records, I was talking about a lot of them even back on Impulse. So that's been a constant thing. A Point to Prove is already fully recorded. So I'm thinking I might release that one in December if everything goes well with Time Breaker being released for October. And then as of now, I actually have 37 other beats just sitting there. So I'm actually thinking of doing a trilogy of albums like Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, and they'll all be centered around ideas from the Dark Cloud games. Now, reason I got inspired, like I will probably call the albums like Dark Cloud Volume 1, Dark Cloud Volume 2, Dark Cloud Volume 3, because I've heard so many diehard fans say they should make a Dark Cloud 3, and Level 5 admitted they want to, but it's co-owned with Sony, and because Sony's a big company, apparently they don't want to do it unless there's a chance to make real money off it, because the second game was originally called Dark Chronicle. But when the buzz of the first game did so well in North America, the North American division of Sony interjected and was like, change the name to Dark Cloud 2, capitalize off the success. So that shows you right off the bat, they want to make the money. And because it's multiplayer online shooter kind of games and World of Warcraft games that are like the most popular nowadays. I mean, there's probably something more newer than that. I'm not really into the games. I like the classic games. Probably the newest games I actually got into and played were the PS2. Not gonna lie, I like my retro games. But those are what's popular. And a game where it's like, you know, a story-based RPG where it's all on your own probably wouldn't be something Sony would see as profitable in this era of gaming. However, there was an original concept from Dark Cloud 1 that got scrapped where Level 5 actually wanted to make an online playable version and add it to Dark Cloud, where you would build the towns and then you could build them differently. And then if other people could play online, they could actually go and walk around your special customized town. Now, they made them a lot more advanced with the customizing mechanics and the georama elements of the second game. So if they did this, it would be really cool. Like if they did a Dark Cloud 3 to make it an online game, like that's what's popular now, but make it so you could build your own towns and everybody's like following like the main story of the game. But then there's like multiplayer modes where you can go and fight like really strong monsters in the dungeons together and do things like that. Like you could make challenges and like that where people could play online, but then people could also go check out your villages and stuff that you custom created if you were like friends online through the gaming system. I thought like an idea like that would be really cool. And then like bring back all the memorable characters from the first two games. Like the six playable characters were great. I Ruby's my favorite, obviously, but I mean, you had Toan, you had Zhao, you had Goro, Ruby, Ungaga, Osmond. Bring them all back because Osmond makes a cameo in the second game. So he would, oddly enough, he would be the only character of playable characters that actually made a cameo in all three games if they did that. Because Level 5 actually used him in White Knight Chronicles as well, another game they created, right? And I think they created Rogue Galaxy because Sony didn't want to back a Dark Cloud 3, but maybe one day if it got made, it'd be cool to bring all those characters back. And then, of course, Max and Monica were pretty lovable characters from the second, the whole ride pod idea, transforming the monsters. I was thinking like the game could involve like having 8 playable characters, but I was thinking like all you'd have to do is slightly change certain things so that like the 6 other characters would actually all have abilities that only they could do. And then Max and Monica, like, yeah, they have 2 weapons each, which it's like Monica's a combination of Ruby and Toan, and Max is like a combination of Goro and Osmond. But like what you could make it is that like Osmond actually, because he could fly in the first game, that's one thing Max couldn't do. So you would need Osmond to fly over certain things, and plus make it so it's balanced. Like, okay, Max gets guns and heavy melee weapons like Goro, but Goro's weapon could be stronger damage wise, and plus he'd be able to hit switches whereas Max couldn't. And then like Max can't fly, Osmond can, and then make his guns just stronger than Max's guns. Like you could level them up and they get really strong, but make it so like if it's one weapon, their weapons get to reach another level above that the 2 weapons don't. So you'd have to rely on both with the other 2 characters, whereas the single characters would actually have like stronger weapons to make up for not having 2 weapons. That's what I thought would be a cool idea to balance it out. But yeah, that's just my thoughts. I'm not the creative director, but somebody had asked me that question actually. So that's why like I actually was like, if there was, what would I want it to be like? Like what would it be like in my imagination? So just sharing my thoughts with that regard. So because I'm such a big fan, I've been replaying these games on my PS2 and my TV here. See, I agree, Abs up in here. They totally should make it. And everybody I've seen on YouTube who is like a diehard fan, they all say the same thing. Where's Dark Cloud 3? We want Dark Cloud 3. So it's like Sony doesn't realize it, but there's a diehard fan base. I mean, if they did it right, they added the online mechanics of like what's popular with modern gaming and like really combined what everybody loved from the first 2 games. I really feel like that could be the next big game. Like people would love that. Like they love their online games playing with friends, but why not take the world of Dark Cloud and incorporate that into it? You could do so much with it, right? So I'm glad you agree. But yeah, that's just my thoughts. And because I love the game so much, that's why I was saying I feel kind of compelled to like make a lot of songs that are like inspired by Dark Cloud concepts. So and Buddhist ideas because I've been getting into Buddhism, which I noticed like Dark Cloud 2 especially, it talks about sages. And there's certain areas of Dark Cloud 1 where they have Buddhist kind of references too. So I was thinking, like, kind of blend the two, especially with this new spiritual path I'm on, sort of like coming out of the dark clouds, finding enlightenment, that sort of thing. So yeah, Dark Cloud Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3. Because then at least I can't make the game. I have no power over that, but there would be three dark clouds if I made three different volumes. Kind of like what Jay-Z did with the In My Lifetimes, because you notice he had volume 1, In My Lifetime, volume 3, Hard Knock Life, which was his biggest album, and then volume 3, The Life and Times of S. Carter. So that kind of thing. That's what I was really thinking of going for with the future project. Now, as I said, I have 38 beats. So if I was going to seriously do this, I'm thinking I would need probably about 11 more beats. And then I'm thinking about doing like 16 songs each volume. That's kind of the approach I'm having. But I want to get some other producers on board just because I want a variety of the beats. I want to like really mix and match them throughout the three volumes so that I would produce quite a bit. The guy I work with, Tone Jones, he would produce some. Plus, I got this new producer I met today called Absalon that he made me 13 beats like for free too. So I was like, you know what, score that. That's another producer I could predominantly feature throughout the three of the volumes. And then, yeah, move forward with that. And I think that would be a really exciting project. Now, that would probably wait until after I go to Japan and get back. But in the meantime, that'll give me time to, well, get the rest of the beats, finish up any beats I would make, get other producers to make beats, and then also brainstorm like the concepts, the lyrics, and the ideas of the songs for after I get back from Japan and start working on that. So that's the future plans for Super Kami Guru Alucard. Like I did show previews of some of the beats in a previous video. Now I was originally thinking of calling the album the Shogun, but I don't know. I've kind of lost the idea of that. I think there will be a Shogun reference to one of the songs still, and like a lot of those beats could be potential Dark Cloud Volume 1, 2, and 3 like beats, but also trying to get other people to move forward. Yeah, for sure. That's actually a really great statement. What Abs up in here said was you can keep Dark Cloud spiritually going like the quartet spiritually kept the S.O.S. brigade going. We need Dark Cloud 3 and Haruhi season 3. I agree. We need all those things. We also need them to make another season for Card Captor Sakura Clear Card and a third season of Bakuto Test Tosho Kanju. I don't know if you've seen that, but definitely check it out. That is like one of the funniest animes I've ever seen. It's just great. And the way they ended it at the second season, I'm like, they could totally keep it going. Like that anime was one of the funniest I've ever seen. It was really good. And obviously, I'm a diehard Card Captor Sakura fan because that was one of the first animes I ever watched. So I love the Clear Card. I want them to bring back a second season. So I'm with you. And then Haruhi. Haruhi is just one of the greatest animes ever made. Like, period. Like, they need a third season. Oh, you'd love Bakuto Test. Like, honestly, it's so funny. If you love the humor in Haruhi, you will love the humor in Bakuto Test. Because it's just what's so great about it is they parody a lot of the stereotypes in anime. Like they over exaggerate it even more and then kind of make jokes about it. So it's just great. Anyways, that's all the latest developments. And yeah, I like what you said. Like I'm definitely going to spiritually keep the ideas of Dark Cloud going along with the S.O.S. brigade. Sadly, I haven't heard from the members in a while, but when I last saw the guitar player, I was walking down the street, we ran into each other, and he said he would like to make another album, possibly an S.O.S. Brigade Quartet Sings the Blues album. But I haven't heard from him since, so I don't know when or if that'll happen. But if I get in touch with them, I definitely love to, make another record. We made some great music in those first 5 albums, and then the live sort of EP we did, High Standards. Maybe we'd make another one day, call it Higher Standards. I was thinking that would be a cool idea, but that's kind of because it's not just my project, it's their project too. It's how they feel, if they want to get involved, or if I get new members, that kind of thing. So that all depends. But for now, Super Kami Guru Alucard will keep doing what I can do and keep moving towards the future. So thanks, Abs, up in here, and thanks for everybody who watches. Please stay tuned next week where we will come back with more Clow card readings, Neville Goddard, and music discussions. Super Kami Guru Alucard. Peace out. Oyasumi nasai. Domo arigatou gozaimasu minasan. Matane.